girls, it's Chris Eads, Wootini over at GayGamer.net, here with another weekly video podcast. As promised, this week's going to be all about Tomb Raider. I know there's a new Animal Crossing game. Yes, I have it. Yes, I have all the amiibos that are available now. I've been doing so good at avoiding collecting amiibos, but now they're making Animal Crossing ones, and I'm required to own every single one of them. I will possess them all. Still not doing the cards, but the figurines, I will have everybody. And I also have a review code for another Wii U game, a little puzzle platformer that I'm currently working on and struggling with because it's a platformer. But this week I want to talk about Tomb Raider because I can't talk about the rest because I've only just started it, and otherwise this would be a really long podcast. And I like to keep them short for you guys because I don't want to make you sit here for a half an hour and listen to me blather on. So Tomb Raider, Rise of the Tomb Raider. Awesome. I loved the last Tomb Raider game. It was a fantastic reboot. I just thought it was amazing. It's everything I want in a game, and thankfully Rise of the Tomb Raider didn't try to fix what wasn't broken, and it's just more awesomeness, and I'm loving it. I love it because it's all the Tomb Raider goodness, the running, the jumping, the occasional shooting, but not too much, and exploring and collecting, and it's just awesome. I am a little concerned because the last Tomb Raider game was one of the few games that I have ever gotten 100% completion. Not all of the achievement stuff. I didn't even touch multiplayer. But I went through every map and collected every single relic, every single document, everything that I could to get 100% completion. So I got that achievement. However, in this one, there's an opening tomb, and it's actually the same tomb that I played at Comic-Con back in October. The demo I played at Comic-Con at the Square Enix event was like the back end of that, like the back 2/3 of that. I didn't play the intro part in that demo, but it basically teaches you how to play, what the controls do, what you're doing, and everything. And I got halfway through it, and I got to the area, and there was a challenge, and I started doing the challenge, and then I realized, looking at the map, that there was a coin cache, like, way back at the beginning, and I couldn't get back to that because you had passed through these tunnels that flooded, so there was no way to, go back. So I was like, I missed it. So I'm like, well, forget it. I'm not going to 100% this because I can't go back. And I actually considered restarting that level so that I could go back and make sure to catch everything. But I didn't want to do that because I'd already just played it, and I'd been playing for like half an hour, 45 minutes, and I'm just like, I don't want to go back because then I've got to do everything again, and it's going to be repetitive, and I hate when games are repetitive like that. So I don't like platformers because when you fall, you've got to redo what you just did and try not to fall, and you keep redoing it over and over and over again until you get it right, and that kind of repetitiveness kills games for me, and it makes me hate them. So I didn't want to do that because it's like I'm just getting into Tomb Raider and I know I'm going to love it, but I didn't want to like sour the game by having to replay the beginning again. And I was like, I'm sure I'll be able to go back. In the other game, you could go back to every single area and you could fast travel to any base camp and find what you need to find and move on to the next one until you were at 100%, you had everything, and it would tell you on the map, like, here's what's left. You found 8 of 9 relics, and you'd have to look and try to figure out where the other relic was. And if you could find enough maps, they would tell you where everything was, and then you didn't have to worry, you didn't have to try to find it randomly. That was the other thing. It wasn't just randomly finding all the items and scouring each area with a fine-tooth comb. You would find the maps, and the maps would tell you where everything was, and that would save time. And then it made it easier, and then I was able to collect everything. The only problem is that on the map, there is no base camp in the Syria area, which is where the original, that first tomb is. And there doesn't seem to be a way to do the fast travel back to that particular level. Maybe when I get to the end of the game, it'll open it up again. I don't know. I looked online, and apparently you can do it in the main menu. There's like the main game. You can continue your main game. You can start a new game, and there's one called Expeditions, which allows you to play through any area in the game that you've unlocked by playing through it, and then adding additional challenges to it and trying to, giving it a time limit, trying to do it faster, trying to get more kills, trying to, that sort of thing, to replay the game with like additional challenges and stuff. And so using that, I could replay the Prophet's Tomb, which is that first tomb, but I don't know if that counts towards my 100% completion or not. If I can't get to it through fast travel in the actual body of the game, I will have no choice but to try to do it in Expeditions and just cross my fingers and hope that doing it and 100%ing that will then add to everything else in the game, and I will have 100%ed the game. I will have found everything. But we shall see. I don't know. I am enjoying Rise of the Tomb Raider. The graphics are fantastic. The environments are just gorgeous. The animation on Lara is fantastic. Obviously, the supporting cast, depending on their importance, are animated slightly less well. They're a little less detailed. But I have to say, there was one scene, no spoilers, there was one scene where the voice actor combined, the talent of the voice actor combined with the talent of the animator doing the facial animations of this character clued me in to their true motivations before the dialogue actually revealed it. And that I thought was very impressive. Because that's the sort of thing that you would get like watching a movie. You're like, oh, they're totally lying. I can tell they're lying. Because the actor is clearly showing you they're lying. They're that talented, they can show that. But it's hard to do when you're animating a CGI character. But they did a really good job. The one thing about Rise of the Tomb Raider that seems slightly different than the last Tomb Raider is there's a lot of crafting in this game. There was crafting in the other one. I remember you'd make things and stuff, but I feel like here you're just like, you're collecting wood and berries and feathers and animal skins and everything, and you're using it to like, make stuff, and it's good because you can make your own hollow point bullets at a certain point, but you make your own arrows, and you can make poison arrows, which are super, super effective. They're awesome. I missed the fire arrows. I haven't unlocked the fire arrows yet. I think I'm close. Somebody told me that I'm about to unlock the fire arrows at this point in the game where I am. Because I loved the fire arrows in the last game. They were my favorite thing. I would just shoot everyone with fire arrows and watch them burn. I know that sounds horribly twisted, but okay, whatever. It's horribly twisted. But the poison arrows are good, because they'll choke and go down, and you can get a group of people, which is sweet. But I miss the fire arrows. Those were really satisfying, because I love the bow and arrow. So being able to make my own arrows at any time using the feathers and sticks that I've collected, that's helpful because you're less likely to run out of ammo. But I also love the bow and arrow, so it's really helpful. I tend to use that like 95% of the time, unless it's like a huge massive firefight with a bunch of enemies all coming at me in waves, and then I have no choice but to go to the machine gun, because you can't... The arrow is more for stealthy attacking from behind and above and taking them out without them ever knowing, which is so satisfying to me. Like, just sit there and perch and from like a long distance just be like, oh, there you go. Hwatong! And then you get that satisfying thunk as the arrow goes into their skull. Because I usually aim for headshots when I can. That's why I think I might be okay in a zombie apocalypse, because in video games I tend to aim for the head no matter what anyway. But I'd probably still get eaten. Loving Rise of the Tomb Raider. The story is good. It's intriguing. And I really enjoy like collecting all the documents that give you more flavor to the story and more background. And I also think I'm probably one of the only people, although I've said this on Twitter and there were a few people who tweeted back and said that they do the same thing. When I find a document and I read it, I don't just skim the text and then back out. They have a voice actor who reads the text and acts it, and I feel like if they went through the trouble to hire a voice actor and have them perform and read this document, I feel like I should listen to it. They took the time to do that. I should take the time to appreciate their effort. But there are a few people on Twitter who said, oh no, I do the same thing. It just feels wrong to like read ahead of what they're reading, because they read slowly and naturally, and you can skim through it and then hit back and cancel out, but I don't do that. So it's taking me a little longer to play the game, I guess. But it takes me a long time to play a Tomb Raider game anyway, because I keep going and looking for every little nook and cranny and trying to find every little thing. Even though I can't get to every little thing because I still don't have explosives, I don't have the fire arrows, there are a whole bunch of things I couldn't do because I didn't have the knife, I didn't have the rope arrows, you know. As you progress through the game, you collect more and more gadgets, so there really isn't any point to looking at every nook and cranny now, because you won't be able to do everything. But there's enough that you can do that I still do it, and I still look for those optional tombs, which, optional my butt, the whole point of this game is to raid the tombs. So those little puzzle tombs are great. And there's more of them in this one than there were in the last one, because, you know, it is Tomb Raider, and it's about the tombs. So, you know, that's cool. So I highly recommend it, especially if you're a Tomb Raider fan and you played the last game. This game is just more awesomeness. Except for the fact that you have to play it on the Xbox One, because, or the 360, because it won't be out on the PS4 until, like, next Christmas, I think. It is a one-year Xbox exclusive. I don't know if that's going to actually sell any Xboxes. I don't know if anyone is a big enough Tomb Raider fan that they're going to run out and buy an Xbox just to play Tomb Raider. But I feel like if there were people who are on the fence and feeling like, oh, I kind of feel like I want to get an Xbox to go with my PlayStation 4 because then I can play Halo and these other games, and then they'd be like, alright, you know what, I'm just going to do it because I can get Tomb Raider. I don't know. But I will say one last thing before I go. I don't know if any of you are having this problem. I thought it was a glitch in the new Xbox experience when they updated the system, but now I have found that other games that I play, like Rock Band now, will resume where I left off. But with Tomb Raider, there's something where I can't just jump right back into the game, because it says that there's been the status of my profile has changed, and it boots me back to the main menu, and I have to go up and hit continue, and it has to load my game again. So that's a little frustrating, and I wish that they would fix that, because it's sort of weird. But I don't know if it's a glitch in Tomb Raider, the game, or in the new Xbox experience system. So I don't know. If you've experienced this, let me know. I don't feel like I've heard anyone else complaining online about Tomb Raider, how they can't resume Tomb Raider where they left off, but so maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm the lucky one. I don't know. I will shut up now. I got games to play. I got Tomb Raider. I got Animal Crossing. I got Typoman. So go play your games. I got games to play. I will see you back here next week, where I will be talking all about Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival, now that I've had a chance to play it. I will see you then. Bye.